Be strong.
So hello everyone, it's Cleo's here. Are you ready to get started? Let's get started. So hello everyone, it's Cleo's here. So our lesson this week is the 12 Spies, and it's from Numbers chapter 13 verse 1 through Numbers chapter 14 verse 9. I'm going to send you over to Miss Latoya for our memory verse and prayer, and I'll see you back here in just a minute.
Welcome back. It's time for our memory verse. Yay! Super excited. Guess what? We're in the book of Numbers again. But this week we're in chapter 14, verse 8. Here's our verse. Repeat after me. If the Lord delights in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. That's the book of Numbers, chapter 14, verse 8. Join me next time for another verse. Bye-bye. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time to pray to start our lesson. Bow your heads and close your eyes. I'm going to do a thank you prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for another Sunday to hear your word. Thank you for another week for Miss Cleo for sharing the word. Thank you for our children for joining us today to hear your word. May they share one thing they learned today with someone else. Thank you in advance for all you have done. Amen. Back to Miss Cleo for our lesson for today.
So welcome back everyone. As I said, our story this week is the 12 Spies. Now last week our story was the cloud and the fire. Can anybody tell me what the cloud did and what the fire did for the children of Israel? The cloud actually gave them shade during the day, and the fire gave them light and heat at night. And both were showing the children of Israel that God's presence was with them. When the cloud moved, all of the children of Israel were to pack up their things and move with the cloud. If the fire moved, all of the children of Israel were to pack up their things and move along with the fire. Well, God had promised the children of Israel this land that flowed with milk and honey, and the land is named Canaan. And God is going to give instructions that 12 leaders are supposed to go into this land and spy it out and come back and give the people a report. So our story, I'm going to be reading it out, The Bible Made Easy for Kids by Dave Strahler. Again, it's from the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 1 through Numbers chapter 14, verse 9. While the Israelites were camping at Kadesh, the Lord said to Moses, "Send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites." So Moses sent out 12 men, one leader from each of the 12 tribes. He told them to find out what the land is like, whether the people there are strong or weak, and whether the soil there is good with lots of trees all over. He also told them to bring back some of the fruit from the land if they could. The spies set out and made their way up to Hebron, deep inside enemy territory. In one of the valleys, they came across vines that bore huge bunches of grapes. They cut a bunch that was so heavy it took 2 men to carry it on a pole between them. My goodness, what kind of grapes did they look like? After 40 days, when the spies got back to the Israelite camp, there was great excitement among the people. Everyone wanted to know what the promised land was like. Then the spies reported to Moses and the people what they had seen. The land of Canaan is very fruitful, they said, but the people who live there are powerful, and their cities have high walls around them. When the people heard what they were up against, they became afraid and discouraged. What did God do for the children of Israel already? God sent 12 plagues against Pharaoh. God parted the Red Sea. God made manna come down from the sky. God made it to where they could have water from a rock. God also made it to where His presence dwelled with them with a cloud in the day and fire at night. God is now taking them to this land and showing them, this is what I'm going to give to you. And they're supposed to come back with a good report. But the people are now afraid and discouraged about the size of the people. Let's continue and just read on. The news about the promised land was not what the people had expected to hear. The people there were really, really big. However, Caleb tried to encourage them by saying, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." Caleb is saying he knows in his heart, he has seen what God has done for them. If God is for us, who can be against us? We can go and take this land right now. But of the 12 spies who had gone to Canaan, 10 of them said, "We can't attack those people. They are much too strong for us. We are like little grasshoppers next to those giants." They are discouraged. They are afraid. God has just did miracles before their eyes, and now they are fearful and not believing that God can get them into this land. God has said, "I'm giving this to you." All they have to do is trust and believe Him. Is there anything too hard for God? Let's read on. Then the 10 spies went and spread scary rumors among the people about the land of Canaan. That night, all the people cried and moaned. They complained to Moses, saying, "It would have been better for us to die in Egypt or here in the desert. Why did the Lord even bring us out of Egypt?" Here we go again. The people are murmuring and complaining. They have no faith. They're not believing that God will bring them into this land and it will be theirs. The Israelites talked about choosing another leader to take them back to Egypt. They even planned to kill Moses and Aaron. But the glory of the Lord came down on the tabernacle where Moses was, and they could not go near him. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the people, because of your constant complaining, not one of you over the age of 20 will enter the promised land. You will die here in the desert. After 40 years of wandering in the desert, I will lead your children into the land I promised them. Only Caleb and Joshua, who have been loyal to me, will enter the land." So they stayed at Kadesh for a long time until the Lord led them back towards the Red Sea. Because of their unbelief and their fear, God had brought them this far, yet they still did not believe Him. And because they had complained and even wanted to kill Moses and Aaron, God said, "Everybody above the age of 20, you will die in the desert, and your children, I will take them into the promised land." So you know what? That's a lesson for each of us. When we come up against some kind of circumstance that seems so big that we feel as though, we have no control over it, there's no way we can get around it. Listen, is there anything too hard for God? There is not. And we need to learn to turn things over to Him and know that if He is for us, then who could be against us? So that's our story today. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Be strong.